I did a 1-month experiment doing injections only in my abdomen because people told me, oh, well, you'll lose more weight faster if you do it that way. And I decided that I would be the guinea pig for you. So I tested it and let's see how it went. I feel like Rafiki from Lion King. I'm like, it is time.
It is time.
Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantastical weight loss journey and hopefully you'll come along for the ride. So on this ride today, I'm going to be doing an update of doing 1 month of 5 milligram Mounjaro injections only on my abdomen. Now, normally speaking, I rotate injection sites. That's a tongue twister. Just like, the manufacturer recommends. But because I keep seeing people post saying, oh, you'll lose weight faster, you'll lose more weight if you just do the abdomen, super duper appetite suppression, blah bitty blah bitty, right? Right, Kevin? So because I have seen so many people, post this, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna do a little experiment on my own. So let's see how it turned out. For those of you who are new and you may not know me, I am very much research-based, science-based, right? I dislike misinformation, so let me give you the parameters of my experiment. Is my experiment perfect? No. Is everybody's experience going to be different? Of course. But let me just lay out the groundwork so that you can understand where my baseline is. So I have been on 5 milligram Mounjaro for quite some time now. It appears to be a sweet spot for me, which I am eternally grateful for. And so this is not a new dose to me. I didn't just recently start it. I've been on it and been very consistent throughout my entire journey on 5. So I have a baseline of information that I can look back on to see, okay, did only doing injections in my abdomen actually make a difference? I also track all of my side effects, anything that comes up, various foods. I log all of my food, various foods that cause me issues. So I'll be talking about that as well. So let me just jump right into it. I'm going to scoot over here so I've got some room to put up my little spreadsheet. So I lost a little over 10 pounds this month, and it was challenging to say the least. I normally like to do injections in the thigh because I have fewer side effects. That's different for each individual. So for me, thigh is kind of the sweet spot. When I inject in my thighs, I find that appetite suppression is very manageable. It's not like over the top. It's not causing all sorts of incredible food aversions or giving me a lot of nausea or those type of side effects. And I'm able to eat at my calorie deficit to lose weight very comfortably for the majority of the week. Usually the day before or potentially 2 days before, my appetite will start to come back a little bit, right? Because of the half-life of the medication, right? Because your body's absorbed it. But again, very manageable, not a problem at all. I'm talking about normal hunger cues, not like extreme hunger, which I've talked about in previous videos. With injecting in the abdomen for an entire month, I have found that my nausea has increased tenfold. The food aversion, either by smell or by taste, has also increased. And that I really struggled for a good 4 to 5 days a week to meet my calorie deficit. to even meet those numbers. And in some cases, like this last week, I was really coming under that number, which if you haven't watched my video on that and how horrible it made me feel, definitely go check that out. So I was not happy about any of that. The nausea was rough. When injecting in my thigh, usually if I get nausea, it will come on, very minimally. Usually it's an indicator that I need to eat, right? That I haven't been keeping up with, hey, it's time for me to eat something. And then it will go away within 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops on its own. Not taking any medication, not taking anything over the counter. It'll just go away on its own. With injecting in my abdomen only, the nausea was much more intense, and there were at least 4 times that I noted that I actually thought I was going to throw up, which is not fun for anybody. I didn't actually throw up, but that's because I decided to go ahead and take some over-the-counter stuff and nip it in the bud, because it was just getting out of control. So, especially if you're already not meeting your calorie goal, you don't want to be throwing up on top of that, right? That's recipe for disaster. So I did have to, get some medications over the counter and deal with it that way, which was fine. I'm a big fan of Nausea, which you can get over the counter. Also, Emetrol is really great. The Emetrol tastes better, but it takes a little bit longer to kick in, which I thought was interesting because Emetrol is a liquid, but the Nausea is a chewable. So interesting, just so you know. The Nausea kicks in 3 to 4 minutes, which I can tell you right now, if you're feeling like garbage because of nausea, that 3 to 4 minutes makes a huge difference. So just want to throw that out there. So yeah, so there have been other months while on my weight loss journey that I have lost 10 pounds in a month. So I didn't feel like all of the garbage side effects and everything that I had to deal with this month, I didn't feel like it was worth it to get that extra 1 to 2 pounds, which for me, I'm averaging anywhere from 7 to 10 pounds weight loss, with the norm being around 7 to 8 pounds a month, which is fine. It's healthy weight loss, right? It's not a race. So, for me personally, it was not worth it. I mean, it was worth it to be able to do this video for you, to have the information, to be able to look at all of my data and report it back to you guys. That aspect of it was worth it. But the way that it made me feel, definitely not worth it. Just like I told you guys before, I've only done a shot in the back of the arm one time, and it made me feel so horrible that I was like, never again. And, different locations in the approved areas for injection have different absorption rates, right? So it's going to affect you differently than it affects me. For me, back of the arm was a no-go. Abdomen is normally fine, but what I found was as the weeks progressed, right? And I'm not doing the same spot on my abdomen each time. I just want to be clear about that. That's not recommended. I'm kind of going around the belly button area, so it's kind of a different spot every time. But as the weeks progressed, it was getting progressively harder to deal with it. And for me, my big thing was having so much food aversion and so much suppression that I could literally go all day without eating, that was not going to fly for me, because I know that if I don't consume enough calories, my body is going to eat my muscle, and I don't want that to happen. So for me, that was a no-go. Now, the other part of this that I thought was very interesting is that even though I've been on this dose for multiple months at this point, it was very interesting to me that as the month went on, even though I'm on the same dose and I'm doing the same injection site area, right? It felt to me like the medication was getting stronger because of the symptoms that I was having. So it's very interesting because, you know, as you take your medication, you have it, like a certain amount of it, you know, builds up in your system, and it builds up, and then you use it, and then you builds up and you use it, and you builds up and your body uses it, right? And you can look up all of the Eli Lilly charts, right? If you're looking about that. So it was very interesting to me, and I felt multiple times, especially in the last 2 weeks, I felt like this would be key information for somebody who was going into maintenance, right? So they've already reached their weight loss goal, and now they're looking to maintain that weight loss. It might be beneficial to find whichever spot works best for you, or whatever area, I should say, not a specific spot, but whichever area works best for you, because I really felt like many times I was having suppression way after my shot day. For one of those weeks, it was the third week, I actually pushed my shot day out by 2 days just to see, okay, how long is this suppression really going to last? Like, is this one shot really going to last me for more than 7 days? And it would have. It literally would have. So it was very interesting to me, and I thought, you know, this might be good information to log away for when I'm in maintenance, because maybe on a maintenance dose, doing just abdomen injections and spacing them out, maybe that would work for me, right? Because one of the things that people do in maintenance is they may drop down in dose, they may stay on the same dose and then spread out the medication, right? Rather than taking it every 7 days, you're taking it every 10 to 14 days, or sometimes even longer. So I thought that was very interesting as far as potential information for future when I'm on maintenance. So what are my plans going forward? Well, I can tell you right now, this last shot day, I did a shot in my thigh. Boy, you better believe it. Because I was like, I'm done with this nausea. I would rather be hungry for 2 days before my shot than to deal with nausea every single day for hours at a time. Like, that was not fun. And I feel for people who are on these medications that have to deal with that. So step one, I changed my injection site to my thigh because I've had enough. 2, I gathered some interesting information that I may use when I go into my maintenance phase. And I may try this again, you know, in the future if I end up going to higher doses. So it was very interesting. 3, I think that this also is great information to have, because at some point, I don't know when, but at some point my body will naturally hit a stall, right? Your body is not meant to be in weight loss mode for, 6 months, 8 months, a year, right? You're not meant to be in a calorie deficit for that long. Now, on these medications, we do that, It also happens with bariatric surgery. So it can be challenging, and you will hit stalls because your body will be like, hey, dude, I just need a break. And that's okay. So this may be interesting information for others who are potentially hitting a stall. Maybe doing something like multiple weeks of injections in the same general area. Again, not the same spot, but all, like for me, in the abdomen. Maybe that would be helpful in breaking a stall because the medication is building up. This is purely speculation. I don't have any real science to back this up, so just roll with me. These are my thoughts. So it's interesting to see how it all panned out. The other thing is that this confirms what many, many people have said about if you're having side effects, change your injection site. So it can go the other way as well for people who are not experiencing appetite suppression, right? Maybe changing your injection site and then doing consistent injection sites, right, in that general area for multiple weeks at a time. Maybe that could help you. So in that sense, this was really cool. Will I be doing this again in the future? Generally speaking, no. I do not feel that a 2-pound difference over the month is worth it to me to have to deal with all of the additional side effects that come with abdomen injections for myself. But like I mentioned, maybe if I hit a stall, I'll try it and see how that works. Maybe it may be something I consider when I've hit my goal weight and I go into maintenance. So it could potentially be something in my future, but as far as just my regular weight loss journey, I won't be doing that again. I will be going back to rotating injection sites, right? I do one thigh, then I do the other thigh, then I do abdomen, then I go back to thigh, right? Because I don't do back of the arm. That's what I'll be going back to because that was the most comfortable and had the least side effects for me. Am I likely going to go back to having that hunger that would kick in, a day or two before shot day? Yes. Am I okay with that? Absolutely. For me personally, I feel like getting back to those natural hunger cues is very important to me because I don't want to forget what that feels like. I know that people have a tendency to panic when they have appetite suppression and then all of a sudden they feel hunger again and they haven't in, maybe a week or two or many weeks, and they panic and they're like, is the medication not working? Am I not going to lose weight anymore? Do I need to go up in dose? Right? They freak out. For me, I want to know what that feels like. I want to be challenged to work through that, which is why I worked through it for a couple of weeks at 2.5, because if at any point my insurance pulls this medication from me, if I can't afford to go to compound, then I will need to be able to manage my hunger on my own. And I feel like it's very jarring for people to go from having appetite suppression for many months at a time and potentially some of them never feeling hunger to then all of a sudden have the carpet pulled out from underneath you, or the rug, I should say, and then have to deal with that extreme hunger and the panic that sets in. And I don't want to forget what that feels like. And I want to challenge myself to work through those days because I feel like it helps me to reestablish my relationship with food, because it really puts you to the test, right? All of your healthy eating choices, all of your portion control that you've learned, all of your low calorie snacks, all of your high protein choices, staying hydrated, right? All of the things that are vital to learn on this journey. If you are never tested, right? Tested, can you do it? And that is a question that bounces around in the back of my mind sometimes. So when I have a day or two before shot day that I have that hunger and I'm like, okay, today is test day. And normally I'm not a very good tester, like academically speaking. But when it comes to this, I feel like it reaffirms everything that I've been working so hard to do. So I encourage you to do the same and let it be a gauge for where you are. Because remember, this is a weight loss journey. There is a destination at the end, but it doesn't mean that the journey ends. And it's so important, and I've said this before, that we need to work on our relationship with food. And the answer is not to just have appetite suppression for the rest of your life, right? Because that may not even be an option for you. So don't be afraid to test yourself and see how you do and where you might need to make improvements so that you can do better next time, right? Okay. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. It was a month's worth of hard work. I felt the pain, but the gain was all of this information that I now have and can use to my advantage going forward. And maybe it'll be useful information for you as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Check out my other videos. I talk about how to calculate your calorie deficit so that you can make sure that you're meeting a healthy calorie number based on you as an individual. I have, advice videos about the best advice, the worst advice. I've been tracking this journey from day one. So go check out my other videos. If you haven't already, make sure you check out that link in my description box for my positive only support group. I would love to have you there. We, answer questions, help new people. It's a safe place where people can come and share and have a community, and they don't have to worry about, is somebody going to attack me because I don't know the answer. So definitely check that out below. And as always, be kind, rewind.